John Jack McCaig here. JesusChristTrust.net, and gonna do a video about angels today. So I made some schedule for some shows coming up and whatnot. So check that out. I hope you can hear me. But I'm not trying to use a mic, so that's what seems to solve that. I don't know. I just like the computer mic. So I'm gonna do angels today. I'm gonna do this important. Can hear me? Thank you. Okay. Then this is what I'm gonna start in on angels. Okay, and I'm gonna start in on. If you look up, there's a good website for Mayor Baba's terminology, and it's this guy Eric S. and it's a glossary. So Avatar Mayor Baba glossary, and if you Google that, all this enormous list comes up of it's a pink page with black lettering on it, and this is the only place that I've found this piece of information. I was looking for it in God Speaks, but I have forgotten where I'd seen it. My memory was inaccurate, and it wasn't in God Speaks. It was from this website, and so I'm going to read about it here. Hey Mary, you can hear me good. You're clear. Good. Happy Sunday. Okay, Jay Baba. So I am going to read what it says here. Okay, this will be the reading for the day. This is a reference to the book. You look under B on this page. It says book, comma, the in bold lettering, and then it has an explanation. I'm just going to read it. So, refers to the book written in the 1920s directly by Meher Baba, which contains many of the secrets of creation. It is the only book written in Baba's own hand. The book remains unpublished. And there's an asterisk. And this is the asterisk here. It's still, I'm just reading as I go down, okay? On that page. Asterisk, parentheses, current whereabouts ostensibly it says, ostensibly unknown, is the major factor in this book remaining unpublished. Baba said it would be published when the time was right. The book traveled with Baba at times, including the U.S. Gandhi was one of the few to have read the book, and it is said to have a significant role in the book's future, in a future lifetime of Gandhi's. End quote. From the editor, it says. Now we go on. And here's the bit that's important after that background. Meher Baba's book, parentheses, actually handwritten pages of short, quote, points, end quote. For example, this is the example I'm going to start with, okay? King of the angels equals Zeus equals, and that's when I say equals, it's the equal sign. It's not the word equals, it's the equal sign. Okay, so King of Angels equals Zeus equals Jupiter equals Indra. Then there's a semicolon. Those were all in capital letters, by the way. Like king is in capital letter Z for Zeus, capital letter J for Jupiter, capital letter Indra, capital letter. And then there's a semicolon, right? So king of angels equals Zeus equals Jupiter equals Indra, all capitalized. Semicolon. Angels, this is all lowercase. This is all lowercase what I'm going to do right now. And again, equals, when I say equals, it's the equal sign. Angels equal divas equal houris or fairies. And parentheses. So angels equal divas, G-E-V-A-S, equals houris, H-O-O-R-I-S, or fairies. Okay, that's the end of the parentheses. So the parentheses was in, it says Mir Baba's book, and then that parentheses was there. Now it says Mir Baba's book was at that time brought back to India and given into Ramju Abdullah's, Sarash Irani's, and Kakabaria's care, with instructions that it be kept locked up in a safe deposit under their names in a bank in Bombay. Now, that's Mumbai. The book remained there for the next 21 years before it was brought back to Baba and then disappeared in 1958. One person, start parentheses again, as recounted by Frank Eaton, suspected to be either Malcolm Schloss or Elizabeth Patterson, end parentheses, had been chosen by Baba to be responsible for the safekeeping of the book while it was in a bank safety deposit box in America. So, that book's supposed to be in America. Do you follow me? Isn't that interesting? But really what I want to get into here, I'm going to do another little piece too here, just because I'm right here, but I'll talk about that in a minute. The next listing on this glossary, B, right? B-O-O-K, is boy. I'm going to say this because this is a very unusual part about Baba's work that no one understood and really almost no one talks about. I've never heard anyone speak about this and understand anything, but I'm going to explain what I've never explained. This has never been explained before. I don't think I've explained it or anyone. So I'm going to say it says boy, parentheses, also good boy, comma, ideal boy, comma, perfect boy, comma, oodly, end parentheses. And so then there's a colon, and then this is a short explanation. When Baba used the expression good boy, quote, good boy, he was referring to the ideal or perfect boy that he was always in search of, and that different men Mandalay, such as Raushabeb, Chagan, Brother Jal, and had to find and bring to him. Udli was the name or term Baba used for the ideal or perfect boy, or simply a good boy. That's my guru. My guru was touched by Mir Baba. He was a boy, and he played the sarod, played music for Mir Baba. His mother and him came and played music for Mir Baba one time. Mir Baba walked over to him and touched him with his foot on his head. He never did that to another human being. Only to him, which was how the avatar transfers the spiritual power to the individual who's going to be running the cycle in the ages, my guru. The hidden ones, you see. These are linked, the book and the boy. These items are linked, what I'm telling you right now today. There's a lineage. The 5 perfect masters are here, and they wake up. right? God playing a human, but God is playing every human, but God playing a human on purpose to be the first one to wake up, right? And that boy becomes a man, becomes the one who runs the cycle into age, the one who has the key of the five perfect masters. As Baba would say, one of them has the key. Well, this one that Baba picked has the key, you see, and that's the one who was my guru, who, of course, wakes, the five perfect masters are here and they wake up. They take off the, how does they put it? They take off the veils that God places on himself. You know what I mean? Uh, the Christ places the veils on himself and then removes them himself. Why? Because what good would it be if God came in here and showed you how to win the game and was like, hey, I won, and you can't win like that? You know what I mean? Like, here's where you want to go. No, if God cares about his creation, he comes in and, you know, is the first one to trudge that hard road that everyone has to trudge to get out of here, like, or else how is God an example to anyone? You know what I mean? Like, that's not, how's that? How does that help anyone? No, you have to show what it is. And anyway, back to the book. So I just want to interdict that because it's important because, of course, Mayor Baba, compassionate father. He's Father, Son, Holy Ghost, right? So he's the one, doing the father character. God's playing the father character as Mayor Baba. Just he's playing the son as Jesus, the best son, right? Jesus and Muhammad, and he plays a lot of sons. So, and Mir Baba said he always comes as a male in male form, so he just does. That's what he does. So, King of the Angels, of course, is the devil, right? Like, Indra, because that's who's running everything here, right? The divas, the hories, the fairies, the ones that are always trying to give you temptations to stay and remain and have everything here, but not God. I'm sorry if I missed comments. I was just reading there. I wanted to really go over this. Okay. I'm going to go back and look at the comments. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to, you know, get through that piece there. Good. I'm clear. Okay. You read that one. Facebook thought of Sridhar. Right. Exactly. All right. You knew that years ago before that. Yeah, no, of course I knew. Yeah, no. Funny thing. Yeah, no, I knew it. It's ego to think those things, though. I didn't think like that. Like, literally, all these people show up to give me a last supper, basically. I'm like, let's go over here. And we're all sitting around a giant table, just like, and I never hear from Sridhar, right, Didi? I get a phone call. I said, oh, hey, what's up? He said, oh, I was just calling. Yeah. I was like, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm sitting here with a bunch of, disciples or whatever. They're just sitting here. He's like, oh, they will all leave you. Like, he said, oh, and you're Christ. He's like, okay, see you, bye. I'm like, barely heard him because it's noisy. There's traffic behind me. We're sitting outside. I was like, what the? Oh, like to even, he's also one that said, what do you say? Oh, you're saying now. I was like, very funny, nice try, no way. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter what your response is, you can't say no. It's like, orders are, it's like, what the, how did that happen? What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, See, they're here running the cycle at age and this whole thing, I once said to him, I was like, "Man, this stuff's too hard. This cycle business." He never gave me one single clue to any of this. I'll be honest. He never did. Not anything I come up with, not a single one single item, not ever. He would be like, "Go to India." I was like, "All right." You know, just that kinda stuff, but never any no information. Never any information, never, never, not ever. So, but, orders come down for the spiritual hierarchy. It is it's hard to explain, like the ego that got us here, like, I'm pretty what's the word that would describe me in a nice way or whatever, confident in myself or something like that, like I don't listen to other people, you know what I mean? I just don't. Like, what's the point, Unless somebody has something like wise to say, and I mean, I listen to everything he says. Like, if I don't, the dire, you know, go. You know what I mean? It's oh, like, so it's unusual for me to listen to anyone, but I absolutely take it as an order, whatever. That's why he almost never gives me feedback, almost ever. Almost never anything. It's sweetest guy alive, no doubt. I have no doubt of that. And I wouldn't be here where I am except for being brought here, you know, by all the ones who brought me here, have giving me all the experience. So when I go back to that quote, right? Fairies, hories, you know what I mean? They are all playing a role uh, on purpose in this hierarchy to get each individual soul where it needs to be, and they're not completely understanding fully their situation, you know what I mean? Unless I tell them too, they know I'm supposed to wake up and become who I am and stuff like that, but in that process, they learn from me. Let me go over some notes here about this, okay? Now, what am I talking about? The fairies, the jinn, the divas. He doesn't say fairies. He said divas, hories. It's all different name for, It's like people fight about, oh, God, Allah, Mir Baba. You know what I mean? Like there's one God. There's not. You can't divide them up just by giving them different names. There's God. And there's different aspects to God. Uh, but there's one God. How could God not be in everything? Like there's no division to God. God is. It's all pervasive, and there's nothing outside of God. So God is. That's what we're really getting down to talking about is God. So this is back to the original whim. Oh, God wants to know self, so he created this game, with the angels and fairies, or everybody take your places, and each individual drop, each individual consciousness, individualized by God. Oh, here, you're separated. Shoop, chop, off you go, you know, and go learn now. Oh, here's the ego. Oh crap, I got to go through all the forms, and then you go through all the forms: cloud, dirt, rocks, worms, everything here, until it's all the humans, all through all of them that are all playing their parts. Oh, you take orders or whatever. Don't really have, a rock doesn't have much consciousness. uh, and neither does lower forms of life. They more have like an instinct or reaction or something like that, but it's all developing, you know like if they touch this, they have a reaction, so they're like, oh, who reacted to that, eventually, there's some consciousness like, oh, me, ego eventually forms, and that gets us through here. But eventually, what's going on with that ego, you know what I'm saying? Like, where people are like, "Oh, I'm individualized." You're not really though, right? What is Bear Mama's definitely can slice and dice it like nobody, the way he explains it. But there's some simpler ways to explain things. Like, where are we getting? Oh, we're getting to Christ consciousness. Oh, okay, God realization. And Bear Mama says, universal mind. Universal mind. Well, see, everyone, everything, you see, has, when they come in here as a drop, as a separation from God, they already have some form of like a universal consciousness, don't they? Like an ant, it moves around, it has consciousness, something's in there, making it all work together in harmony and stuff. But that's coming from the King of the Angels. You see what I'm saying? The shadow of God in here, the form of God of the creator, preserver, and destroyer that thinks it's like everything. The devil's got all the power. But not really, it's just given to here's some power from God, and you can have a bubble. Your bubble of power is now active. Enjoy your bubble. But nothing outside of that, not a nothing, you know? So you're right at the little prison egg. You're right. You're in charge of the prison egg. And so everyone's consciousness is united with that. Do you follow? Uh my groceries are here. I might have to stop for a minute to get them. And come back on. Holy Spirit, in a way, like the shadow of the Holy Spirit, in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like the spirit that exists. There's one that's, the Lord of Hosts. You know what I mean? Like somebody comes on. I watched this dude on some financial stuff. He's like, "I'm your host today." The Lord of Hosts, like the God of the Old Testament, the devil, the thing, these hosts, they're hosting, uh, a division of the devil, you know what I'm saying? Like an aspect of the devil, they're hosting that, that will eventually, after coming through those forms, eventually come to the consciousness of God. But in the meantime, it's a host. It's hosting. It doesn't have its own consciousness. It has a consciousness of the devil, and with their ego. So the ego and the devil are like they never go together. Not very well. Oh, I'm individual is like do what you're told. You're sending all the thoughts. Your ego is like, my thoughts are so important. I will act on my thoughts. Wow, that's a great thought, never figuring that you don't create thoughts, you're just the one walking around, like, so that can be difficult. uh anyway, so we're kind of moving from this consciousness where you reject the universal hive, you're like reject. And so you should do this. You need a job. You need to like everything they say your whole lifetime. We're on a ball. Like you're like, wait a second. You know what I mean? If you don't go for the whole everything they say, it's like you're a reject. You're not doing what everybody says you should be doing. So you're a reject. Reject from, which means you're rejected from being in here, which is the goal of life is being rejected. A reject, you're out, right? You're out of the hive. Go out of the dough. You're not reincarnating. No good, no more. You're done. The goose is cooked. The egg is hatched. Ray attack spaces, right? It's like, who is the I that or have a this is who I am, right here? Yeah. What? You know, who's in there? Like, not much, So, and that's, it is in a human form. It's doing these things and driving and, you know what I mean? Like, it's close, it's doing all the stuff. So it thinks it's, but what's going on around us? You know what I mean? Like, nothing is true. So we're trying to fit in with a world where it's actually not intended not for us to be possible to fit in. They're running a world that we cannot fit into, period. We do not harmonize with it. We disharmonize, you see? Like, it's, so we can't sync up anymore. It's not possible. Our consciousness is like, "No, yeah, I'm not doing it," you know? Like, if it's all a lie, I'm supposed to follow the truth, and my God, if there's a God, would it be having me lying all the time? Like, no, you're like, "No, that's not who I am." You grow a heart instead of like, "Oh, I have to lie to get, more, then I'll just lie." It's like, that's not a human trait, lying isn't. Yeah, it's your reject, exactly. You're get. That's it. So and so then what is going on around us? Like at the moment, even, they're like, hey, prisoners, we're making it expensive for you to move around, and we could call in the next, planned problem, or you know what I mean? Stay put, don't learn from each other. Uh, because and so then they got us in these screens like this, you know what I mean? And they don't give the humans screen time. They give themselves screen time. And so uh who is in those screens? You know what I mean? Like LOL, Lord of Light. Like you think you think that people are making like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Like they can come out of the ether and be in a form here, but would you choose to be like, yeah, sure, sometimes whatever, you know what I mean? But you're trying your thing is like gaining influence and winning over the humans mentally and getting them to do what you want to do and stuff like that. Uh so do you really need to take hold on. Do you really need to take a human form to do that, or you just need to influence them? You know what I mean? Yeah, never ends the fucking bullshit around here. Reminds me of there's this I forget what book it is. I remember it was a green book, something on Bear Baba, and Erich wrote. Uh, maybe I shouldn't say this, but Erich wrote this forward. Erich wrote this forward, and it was basically about a perfect master, and so he's recounting this thing. Uh, he's recounting this story in the forward in the Spare Bible book, and the story goes like this: there's this guy, and he's trying to walk the spiritual path, and he hears there's some guru up in the mountains and some perfect master, so he wants to go check him out and see if this guy is real, and maybe he learns from him. So he goes up in the mountains. Eric makes it a more of an interesting story and so on. I would read it if I knew where it was, but I don't. Uh, but he goes up and keeps asking where this guy lives, and he finds out it's up this house, and so he walks up to the house, and uh, he hears screaming from in the house. You know what I mean? And there's just this woman is just screaming and yelling. The windows and doors open and stuff, and she's just screaming, yell. And he's walking to the house, and that's where it's coming from is that house, that he's walking to. And so he don't have to get that close to hear what's being yelled and stuff, and it's always like, "You ain't no perfect master," like, all this horrible, like, all this just the worst possible stuff about this guy, right? And, he's like, "Whoa." And he's like, "I guess that's not the guy." And he starts to turn around and walk down the road and leave. And in the distance, he sees this guy who's walking towards him that fits the description of this dude walking to the house, right as he turns around. And next to the dude is a tiger walking just right next to the dude. And on the back of the tiger is a big pile of firewood. And so this guy's like, okay, I guess this dude's a perfect master. He's like, starts to get scared. It's like, what the? You know what I mean? Like, and then the guy walks up to me, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "I am okay." You know, he's like, "Well, you have a question or something? What like, what's going on?" And the guy's like, "Well, okay, I do have a question." He's like, "Man, I went to your house," and, he described the scene there, and he's like, "Dude, I don't get it." I turn around and you're walking up here. He's like, "Uh, what what's the explanation?" Like, "What gives?" And a guy says to him, he's like, "How do you think I got the tiger to carry my firewood?" Anyway, that's the reality. So if you don't get that, it's really important that people understand that. Okay, so we're back to talking about gin and, you know, the evil that they do. The evil. But, you're looking at these things, these screens, right? The Lord of Light, Facebook, the influencers, you try and get on any kind of media, you're like, "I wonder," and you try and look up, "I wonder about this," you know what I mean? You Google something, you look something on YouTube, you look it on anywhere, you know what I mean? And you can't like, okay, I'll use a real example. Like when the Paris riots were going on, I mean, they could be still going on today, I don't know, but, uh, when the Paris riots were going on, I was like, "Okay," because regularly I'll Google or YouTube, I'll search riot, and then only for the last 24-hour period and see if anything comes up because they're always taking them down, instantly, you know what I mean? And I looked for the Paris riots, I looked on YouTube, and I took the time to go through. I was just like, "Well," I was going through, the videos on it, the shorts, the longer ones, whatever, right? I went through all the videos on this one day, and in 24 hours, like, I searched for a 24-hour thing. I look up, I looked through the whole thing, I looked through the whole thing, I looked through the whole thing. All of them were news agencies, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a single human being that had made a video that could get it out, that people could see, that wasn't possible. Like, I just looked during that one day time period, but I was like, "Hey, humans can't get information to each other, it's, like, impossible." Just, something they're filming in the streets of their country, they can't get it out to themselves or other countries. It's not possible, It's just it is impossible. You search for it, you can't find anything. So that's how they're keeping us contained oh, physically you have to be in these areas, and then when you look at a screen, they don't have proof that they're human, they're not. And why would they even need to be in a human form? Like movie, they can make anything appear out of the ether, so they can make anything appear in the ether as anything. You know what I mean? Like Maui, yeah. Dude, let's talk about that for a second. I'm at the drum circle the other day. This was like a week ago or whatever. Maybe it was last Sunday. Yeah, after I did this thing, I think it was. Uh, maybe it was Wednesday. I forget what day it was. Very recently, this woman just came up to me. I never met before, of course, or whatever. Or maybe I'd seen her there. I don't know, whatever. But she's like, "Oh my god," right? She's like, "I have friends and family in Lahaina, and they were doing some nonsense at the like a jump circle. I don't know." And she come up to me. That's what she said to me, and I said in a response immediately, I said, "No one is." I said, "Karma is a law no one is outside of." She said, "What?" I said, "Karma." I had to say it like 5 times. And she said, "What is the first word you're saying?" I said, "Karma." Karma. Karma. She looked at me and she just walked away. Like, when you look at like Maui or whatever, she touched the Michael Jordan. I exactly. You know what I'm saying? You. I'm but if of course, even the images they're letting out of there, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you can see that the exact outline of the building, ash. Like the 9/11, it's like one building, ash. Poof. You know what I mean? They were showing you what was 9/11 about? Was showing you the power of Judgment Day. That's why I bring it up as a halfway point. That's why they play it out. You look at Lahaina, you look at, what Paradise, right? Paradise Lost up in California, that one. They call it paradise. I don't know why. That's the Eagles song. I mean, it is paradise, but they do what they do. I tell them, listen, it's like this song I see on this nice, reggae song that this young fairy sings, we could change the world, we could change the world if we wanna, but they don't. You see, because they always stay in character, they always do what they do, they're under orders, they're in a unified consciousness that is not with Christ consciousness. They have a unified one consciousness, they don't break ranks. Period. Angels, as Mayor Baba said, angels don't have free will. They don't have free will. They just take orders. They are who they are. They don't have free will. So how can you be ultimately, if God says I didn't give him free will, how can you be upset with anybody but think about it? Who should you be upset with? Not them. God. You see what I'm saying? If you're not blaming God for everything, you don't understand reality. You don't blame them, you blame God, and then God's like, "Oh, oh, yeah, I'm behind the curtain. Oh, hey, Mr. Oz." Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're not blaming the guy behind the curtain, then you don't understand nothing. Blame a fairy. For what? They can't think. You know what I mean? Literally, they can't think. So, you know what I mean? Do you blame a baby for filling their diaper? It's same thing. How is it different? It's not. They're like a baby. They don't have free will. They just in a body and it's operating and change the diaper, Just don't even, and so then what do you think about? Oh, hey, I'm living my life. I have a baby. You know what I mean? What am I going to do today? You know what? I'm going to go into the baby's room and ask the baby, how's that going to help you? Ain't going to help you. You follow me? Baby can't help you. Baby needs your help. So you see what I'm saying? These creatures are here to get us where we need to go, but they are not fully understanding that actually we're the ones getting them where they need to go because we were them. They really need to understand that they're concerned and worried. They can't break ranks. God don't let them. They don't have free will. Not even. Do you? Not really. You have at least a semblance of it, and they don't. You know what I mean? Because everything is God is to blame for everything. Your thoughts, everything, your reaction to thoughts, everything created you. How does God now take the blame? You have to do that. Your ego has to be like, well, what can you make the ocean? Yeah, I'm gonna switch the time of the tides today. You ain't running nothing, baby. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you do. Right? We're here to get the consciousness sorted out and see you later. Not coming back. uh, yeah, the equals intelligence, those things are right. Uh, so they're moving from they're divas, one with the devil. They're moving from being divas, like their name is not, their consciousness is not, and they're moving from diva consciousness to Christ consciousness. That's what everyone's up to here, and they're just there's a rule. There's 7,000 each age that can do it, and no more. And they try to keep them separate, like, we don't want you catching on or nothing. That ain't fair. It's hard, very hard. It's like the shadow hive mind. All right, I just wanted, that uh what Mayor Bravo wrote about divas, angels, all that. That really unlocked, a lot for me when I read that the first time. So I just wanted to share that information so that hopefully that unlocks something for you. That's all I'm trying to do. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I'm just trying to help you see it. Okay. Some people don't want to see, they're under a hive mind and they just that consciousness don't want you trying to deliver it and they can't think for themselves and they just reacting and it's just has to be around me at all times, no matter where I am. It's unbelievable. The shadow is always fully present. uh, okay. I don't know. I just want to be very clear with that and give out that information. Are angels only created on their way into creation? It is subtle when they should be unconscious. Uh, well, it's funny. Mayor Baba does put it that way, don't he? And he says the archangels come through the mental plane. But what is that? That's if you're coming back into the time loop or whatever, your consciousness is, restarted at a certain point. Oh, you're taking another lifetime. You know what I mean? You change up. Just like you move from a worm to a lizard, you had a break. Now you're a lizard consciousness. You know what I mean? Uh, so the subtle angels, yeah, they're in that subtle consciousness, but then the mental ones, the archangels or whatever, they're in the mental one, and the highest in the mental sphere is Gabriel, the messenger of God. Can't go past the sixth plane. Cannot go past. That's what Mayor Robin said. Can't go past the sixth plane. What does that mean? An angel is part of the journey of the forms, right? Because you have to go through all the forms, Mayor Mama said, and the last form before the seventh plane is angel form, is that consciousness. But then the human could get there. You see what I'm saying? So, and there are only 7,000 that are actually on that path to the seventh plane, get up to the sixth plane. But you see, there are so many of them. There's 7,000 on these planes of humans, but they're all stationed on these different planes as our adversaries or helpers or whatever they need to be. You know what I'm saying? As the game, they're playing them roles. You know, so they come and go from those places, the subtle and the mental, under orders from God. Uh, here, you know that saying, Alan? If a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound if no one's there to hear it? Nah, nah, nah. Go one deeper. You see what I'm saying? If a human is not in a forest, does that forest need to exist? No. If none of the 7,000 humans are in China, would China need to exist? No. It wouldn't need to exist in the physical, like, period. You know what I mean? Only where someone is or is gonna be or is then, you know what I mean? Does France has to exist when, you know, no humans are in France? Not really, no, or, does the Amazon have to exist if no humans are there? No. You know, does it if things come and go in this timeline, like China, like I don't know if anyone could go to China really, I have my strong thoughts that that's the creation point is there or near there. Baba said that India is closest to the creation point, is why the avatar usually comes through India. So, but this time he said, it's America. So he, the next time that's what he said after him. Uh, okay, let's see what you said. Uh, so are they drops that would have to go through evolution? But they already done it. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? They already done it, at some point. Or God's like, okay, I need archangels to play the game. You know what I mean? And he starts them in a certain place. But at some point, you see, all consciousness must evolve. It doesn't stay stagnant. Do you see what I'm saying? Consciousness is always evolving. Uh, it doesn't. That some consciousness would stay exactly the same in some location. It doesn't. It would be anti-God in a way. You see what I'm saying? Like, even Indra, like, that is a place that could change out. I could have taken that place. You see what I'm saying? I could have taken that position. So maybe somebody accidentally does that sometimes, that's what Indra fears when you walk by Indra's place as Christ. Like, don't take my kingdom. Yeah, oh, don't yeah, right, no. Who said it's your kingdom? That's my reaction to it. Because who are you? You're nobody, you know what I mean? And so if I'd have done all the evil things, I would be, but I didn't. I just didn't take the bait, like the uh, uh, the veils are thick. The veils are placed by God fairly, you know what I mean? So that on each one, so that their consciousness it's like this. You know, God don't make an acorn on a tree, and then it's like the acorn. It's like one day it's like pow, there's another tree. You know what I mean? Like it's just like oh, there's a tree, and then no, there's an acorn. It falls on the ground. I'm like, yeah. That's God's thing. It's like for something that is timeless. Time is an aberration. Do you understand? Like to what you achieve Christ consciousness to be stuck in this time nonsense, is nauseating at least. And for me, I experience it as wicked nausea. Like you're just like, you know, you're just walking around in what Mayor Mama calls the uh, uh, walking latrine. Humans are walking latrines. Well, that's not a nice thing to say about your creation. But it's the finite and the infinite combination, they don't go together, you know what I mean? So this is the place where it's like you're evolving this and ultimately they don't go together. Infinite consciousness, it don't go together with you. It must exit. To put it inside a human is and to remain in the human form is it's the height of a blessing and it's the height of cruelty at the same time. That's why Mary would say you take all the suffering of the entire world because you have universal consciousness. You feel everyone's suffering. You're like, I have to get these homeless off the street. I can't take it. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me so nauseous. It's like I just want to throw up all the time from that feeling. So, uh, the veils are thick. The veils are placed there, and they're even placed on the avatar coming in because, you know, of the compassion for everyone that has to go through it. Like I'm not gonna treat myself as different. I'm one of you. You're one of me. You're not separate. I'm not gonna do something that's gonna create a separation. I'm gonna create a unification. I'm gonna live the life that I made you live. I'm gonna win it and show you how, but I'm not gonna make myself more than you. You're the top, and so we're one. You see? So, like video games, my boys play the characters spawn when needed. Exactly. Exactly. Like you're walking through a room and, you know, why, the rest of the video game is like, we just got 4K and this, the rest of the video game is sort of waiting on the there should you walk over there. Exactly. That's a great way to put it, Mary. Thank you for that. Yeah. Whoa. Perfect. Seriously, yeah, no, exactly, exactly. So, if you're not because they're on a differential, a time differential. We have 1 day, they have 1,000 years. They're sitting over there in the ether, they're like, it looks like they're gonna push the button for YouTube and look at something, you know what I mean? They have so much foreknowledge, like, "Okay, well, I'll see you in 2 weeks," you know what I mean? They're in the ether at such a time differential, it's like a joke to them to stay ahead of us and stuff. You see, they have unlimited miracle powers. So, yes, I mean that's a really but that's why that time differential and their ability to come and go and create images and so on. For them, that's just who they are. For us, it's we can't imagine that as a reality because we can't do that. And they look like us. And it's like, we don't get it. But it's actually quite simple and they don't have more than they have. And once you see what they have, well, what power do they have anymore? You see? In the third subtle, right, only 4 cycles for Indra. Exactly, and they wanna catch the next Indra. I'm like, "No, no." You know what I mean? I'm in Florida, baby. Like, I see a lot of young ladies in thongs. It's like, and when I do, in that red bathing suit, like in The Matrix, the lady in red, I'm like, instantly, is there a bomb? Is there like, seriously. Exactly. Like, I'm not falling for your bait. Like, no way you're getting me in there. No way, no how, no way, no way. I'm not taking that position. You gotta move past it, though. You gotta say, "I'm done here." You narrows it, like, "No, thank you. No, thank you." That has to be your response to the end. "No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you." No, Alan, that's you get it, man. Okay. Angels do not pass through the states of evolution. There are immediate angels to fill positions to make the game happen. You know what I'm saying? Like Gabriel's gonna stay Gabriel. So there are some that you know what I mean, but like can Gabriel's not actually separate from God though. You see what I'm saying? It's just Anna is actually God. Like, you know what I mean? Like playing a position that's not gonna change. Certain things God is playing and not going to change those roles as God is playing. So, Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? Like that spirit is God's Holy Spirit. That's actually God. So, they move the Monopoly board. They're always moving it, right? That's the thing. That's what makes you reach out. When I went to Mayor Mama's house, Mirazad, not his tomb, Mirabad, right? But Mirazad is his home. That's open on Sunday. You could go there and get around and stuff. It's on the other side. It's a place called Happy Valley. And I went into his bedroom and I sat next to his bed. And you know what? The day I went, the first day I went there, this is what was next to his bed. There was a picture of Jesus. There was an illustration. There was artwork of Jesus. Like not a photo. But I'm being an idiot. Anyway, there's an image of Jesus, and he's floating in the air above the sea. And in the sea, there's a storm, and there's a shipwreck, and there's a guy like in the water up to here, and he's reaching in his arm, right? And it's like, uh, you know, Lord save me. You know what I mean? That was a picture next to Mayor Papa's bed. Just saying, like if you like that's the way it is. You see, it's just because God decided the way it is, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Only human passes through these states, yeah, but what are we looking for? One who evolves with funny. Idra is a rainbow prison, right? Idra is a rainbow prison manager, yeah. totally. What do they call them? Awarded. Award. I'm a ward of the state. Who's your warden? Indra. Whenever they show right, Indra's rainbow. It's how I am too. Whenever they show like Ben to take the bait, right? uh or Buddha. Where you see the rainbow, the bow of war is up, right? Red is a color, ain't that? Some truth to that one. Ugh. Of war, right? They look at the rainbow wrong. They look at the rainbow, turn your head sideways. What do you see, right? They're sideways as can be. I turn my head with his Oh, that's good. I just anyway, I set up, doing this on Sundays. I'm gonna do an hour. Um, this work is hard on me. The older I get, it ain't getting no easier. It's getting harder to make a penny and harder to just there, you know, it ain't easier. I know you know. I know. I'm preaching to the very tiny little choir on that one. Ah, this is our choir song. Ah, it's like Jesus Christ. That's the choir song. Ah! Uh, I don't know where the donation button is. I don't know. There's one on the website. I can only try and get this out. Anyway, I done an hour here, and your feedback was fabulous. Great questions. You all got to watch for Alan. I'm telling you, I had the benefit of speaking to him, through Zoom. Guy's off the charts. Keep an eye on this one, and feel free to ask him stuff. You get to the bottom of every single everything. I love it. I'm so he's like, yeah, but what's under that? And what's I oh, that's how you learn the truth. This really is such a good, you know, it's really amazing to witness. It's so rare that I'm like, yay. Yeah, keep peeling the onion, and what do you see? In the end, nothing. Well, what is that nothing? Where, what's going on in that nothing? And that's the side job for Alan. Okay. Uh, and you cry. Oh, that's good. One more thing, Don. Anytime, Alan. Just saying. All right, I'm gonna cut off, and thanks for everyone for being here, and I'll check on you next week. Keep me posted. Look for it in the forum. Everything that's going on. Yeah, I could too. All right, J Bob, everyone.